Let's see what we got. Did ancient aliens create different races? I believe so. Let's see what
How we all got to be different races.
I tell you all the time, I'm a nigga who
that
believes
goes
in shit
back
like that.
to
How did that happen?
Yeah, that goes back to the Tower of Babel incident in the Bible, which comes out of the Sumerian tablets.
Okay, explain what ancient Sumeria is real quick, because we keep referencing it, and I also want to understand.
Well, this ancient Sumeria is a location right now would be Iraq.
Right.
All right, and Iraq, which at that time was extended part of what Africa actually is, believe it or not. But it was a multicultural location.
Got it.
The people there were advanced beyond belief. They had achieved a high level of advanced construction, waterways, irrigation, mathematics.
Is this Tigris and Euphrates?
Between the Tigris and the Euphrates, where the Garden of Eden is located.
Got it. Okay, and this makes sense because I imagine like the Tigris and Euphrates would overflow, and there would be this great fresh water that would spill onto the land, and then they would have tons of fruits and vegetables that would grow quite seamlessly. In a similar way to like the Nile, people spoke of what happened to like the Nile Valley region, where it was just very fruitful, right?
Right, very fruitful.
Okay, so you have lots of food. When humans have lots of food and an ability potentially to protect themselves, society can grow. So this is the idea.
Right.
Okay, so Sumeria, this is a culture that is influenced by the Atlanteans, or this is just humans?
Heavily influenced by Atlanteans.
Okay, so the Atlanteans are ruling it? Or?
They built a base there, and Enlil is the one who built the base, Yahweh from the biblical text. He built a base there, and he said, I'm going to create a design for cities that will last for all time on this planet.
Zoe?
Yeah. From meeting for coffee?
Megan, I love you.
And is this the first city that is erected?
One of the most advanced cities on this planet.
And is this the first city that is erected?
And he said, I'm going to create a design for cities that will last for all time on this planet.
And is this the first city that is erected?
One of the most advanced cities. It's got street grids. It has a town center. You know, it has plumbing. All of that exists at this time.
And this is how long ago?
This is about roughly 8,000 years ago, according to mainstream. But if you go to the real, understand that these tablets are copied tablets from even more ancient tablets. We could be talking 40, 50, 100, 200,000 years ago.
Whoa.
Even deeper than that. And some geologists have gone to look at the weather patterns of the destruction of some of these areas and realize that we're talking maybe even almost 2 ice ages ago. So this is really old stuff. And so these people were extremely intelligent, but they were influenced by these Anunnaki Atlantean people who gave them the knowledge and taught them how to build and taught them how to do all of this. And at the Tower of Babel, Yahweh, who's known as Enlil, he helps them to erect this. Well, he builds his own tower first, called the Duran Key, which means bond heaven earth. And then the humans, when he leaves to go somewhere, the humans build a similar structure. When he comes back, I guess it's probably months or years later, he sees that this thing is being built by humans, mimicking what their advanced culture had built. And he says, oh man, whatever their hearts desire, they will achieve it, which that made it into the Bible. And so he destroys the tower, just like it says in the Bible. And then he says, my seed shall not abide in man forever. His years shall be 120. That also made it into the biblical text. So you see where it's getting copied from. Older ancient texts. The Bible was written from 100 AD to 900 AD. This text is thousands of years prior. And so he then decides to confuse the languages and move people around to different regions of the planet so that we couldn't collaborate.
Because if we can't collaborate, we can do all the things that they can do.
Exactly.
And we can challenge their power.
Exactly. This is where the genetic modification came in. That 120 statement is powerful because at Harvard University, they just discovered that the lifespan of a human being maxes out at about 120 years.
Yeah.
Right? And that's under the most pristine conditions, no poison.
That's
blah, blah,
organ
blah.
failure and all these other things, not counting cancer, these outside sources.
Exactly.
But how long can your organs really live for? Yeah.
So that's where the genetic, now the scientists said, look, chromosome number 2, something happened to humans. It was taken out and fused together, right? Instead of having 48, we got 46. Why is that? Fused together, 2 telomere caps put on the end, limiting our lifespan. So we know that there was a genetic mutation around the same time, they're saying 200,000 years ago, the same times the tablets are roughly estimated to be written originally about this Tower of Babel incident. So it's like ancient text and modern science is almost collaborating with each other. And you're saying, man, what? Wait a minute. So the geneticist said it's an artificial mutation. We said, well, who did it? They said, we don't know how it's done. They said through natural evolution, it would have taken millions and millions of years to happen.
But it was expedited.
Expedited. Now,
because the Anunnaki did it.
How do we guess? They did. How do we get the races now? Me and you aren't dark because our cousins were working in the sun. Don't believe that. It's foolishness. Okay. You're not light skinned because your uncles and aunts were working on top of a mountain in Russia.
Yeah.
No. What they discovered was between races, there's a 2% variance in DNA and genes.
Yeah.
2% would take multi-millions of years through natural evolution. Didn't take that long. It only took 200,000 years. So what's going on here?
Oh, I understand what you're saying.
Yeah.
Yeah, because
we're branded.
Yeah. Well, that's kind of interesting because if humans didn't leave the African continent until how many 100,000 of years ago?
Yeah.
You're saying that we left prior to the amount of time necessary in order for us to naturally evolve to have these different colors.
Correct.
Dick sizes or whatever. So, yeah, why did your guys' God love big dicks so much?
Yeah, what is that? I don't know.
Yeah, what is that about?
When you go to Egypt, that's like, in the museum, you see a lot of statues with big penises.
What is up?
You notice how we didn't look into that, huh?
Why didn't you look into that? Explain that. Yeah.
No diddy.
Because my God.
But then he got a little strippy on that.
Okay, so the most different.
Yeah, they're really different. But here's what
They are.
I can say that because my wife is Asian.
Yeah, so tell me, what's the deal?
Here's the thing. So
Anunnaki.
when you look at the Anunnaki and you discover that they were multiracial people, they all look different. The crew that took to Chem with them, they were all different looking people. Even one of the person had married a woman from another planet, according to these texts, not according to me. But when he said, go around the planet and duplicate what we did here.
Yeah.
So now you and I, we're already in Africa, right? You go to Europe, you go over to Mesoamerica, and you are ruling over people. Now, what does a farmer do right now if they have cows? They brand the cow. So in case my cow wanders off, that's Farmer Jim's cow. We got to get it back to him.
So everybody made their people look like them.
That's
so
right.
They knew these are our property.
Let us make man in our image.
Whoa.
I believe my hypothesis is that we are genetically branded people for the people that we were ruled over by.
Whoa. So what color do we all start as?
No one knows. When you talk about these Anunnaki texts, it describes them. There's only one reference in the Sumerian tablets that references the people that took the brunt of a bomb that got dropped in ancient times, and they call them the black-faced people. And it said that the evil wind took them over and their hair fell out and their nails fell off and their eyes were bleeding. It's like radiation sickness. That's the only reference we actually have of the way anybody really look, other than the hair. They talk about hair in the Epic of Gilgamesh. They talk about locks, but does that mean locks like you just have long hair, or does it mean dreadlocks? We don't really know. But it's interesting.
Also, white people get dreadlocks too.
Yeah, it's true. So it's interesting. So you don't know. We don't really anybody who's making hard factual statements like that, they're just making it up.
Really?
So what about Blake Griffin? Who branded him?
Yeah.
Yeah. What
do we do when we start mixing and matching? Like, what's going on there?
Yeah.
Was that bad or is that good?
Well, no.
What would the God say about that?
In the Garden of Eden, it was actually Edin, right? And Enlil, he was known as Yahweh. He was the Lord. He was known as Satan, the Lord of Eden. Satan, the Lord of Eden, and Eden was an outside laboratory. And in this laboratory, when you read these texts, even some of the apocryphal texts, like the Book of Adam.
I said people take a lot of things in the Bible literal, and it wasn't like literally. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't a tree, an apple, and boom, boom, boom. Like, shit was a little metaphorically
left out of the Bible. You discover that this was a mating ground. So they would start. So what happened first was they began with genetically modified people that were almost like clones. And the information on the cloning technique is at the Temple of Karnak in Africa, in Egypt, where I take people. And also there's more evidence or talk about it at the Temple of Dendera, and there's one more temple that has the birthing center. I think it's the Temple of Isis. And so they were making these people, but they couldn't make them fast enough, and these people couldn't have sex and reproduce on their own.
So
they got very frustrated. So Isis says, okay, I have an idea. I'm gonna take the egg out of one of the beings and put it in my womb and take it to term. So it says in the text that they literally mixed their genetics with this egg, put it in her womb. So that's now making what we call a zygote in modern technology terms, right? In vitro fertilization, puts it in her womb, takes it to term for 10 months, and then gives birth to the Adamu, which means first man. And there's a cylinder scroll in the British Museum where she's holding up the baby, says, my hands have made it, the first man, Adamu. So that's where we get the first genetically perfected Homo sapien.
So before that, they were all...
They were Homo something, but they weren't like us. They couldn't reproduce. Like if you take a tiger and a lion and mate them, it'll have a ligand, but the ligand can't reproduce.
Right.
So that's the situation. That's what we had going on.
This is so fun. This is so much fun. It's so much more fun to listen to you and just believe everything. Yeah. I'm telling you, I know there's people that listen right now like, oh, this is bullshit. Just get away from that and just enjoy today. Just enjoy.
I want them to research what I'm saying.
Yeah.
They can rewind and write this stuff down or type it in their phone and start learning.
Yeah.
I want people to research what I say. Don't believe what I say, research what I say.
Yeah.
So what happens is, and we take people to these cloning centers when we take them to Africa on tour. Our tour we take every single year. Next one is coming up in October. And so the point I'm trying to make is, so we have the cloning center. The clones couldn't reproduce enough. And a lot of work was going into making these people. So they came up with Adam. This starts the generations of Isis, the generations of Isis, the Genesis, the Genesis.
Ooh, and Genesis is obviously the first book of the Old Testament.
Yes. Doing the math right now.
He really is. He's doing the math. Whoa. So that's Adam.
Yes, Adam. Adam was then put into this Eden to mate with these other. They had mating times and schedules. You couldn't do it. You couldn't get back what you were talking about. You couldn't mate with somebody unless you were given a scheduled time to mate, or you get in trouble and punished. But no baby's coming. So they said, damn it. So let's go ahead and take some of his DNA, clone that, make a woman. So they made Eve. Then she got pregnant. Okay, this works. They were not the first humans on this planet. They were probably 1 million in at that point.
Right,
okay?
that's what I always
So people who
saying.
think that 8 billion people that we have now on Earth came from 2 people have never studied genetics. Because if I start mating with my sister and so forth and so on, by the second generation, third generation, we're gonna have a whole bunch of people with disabilities and one eye and arms broken and small legs and all kinds of stuff. You can't make 8 billion people, not enough genetic diversity.
Right.
So that's why they had the specific mating times and the people that you could mate with to make sure that they were not creating a small genetic pool. Once they figured that worked, they said, okay, let's isolate them in a certain part of the garden and begin to do this experiment with them. So Adam had Cain and Abel, and Yahweh came back to check on his offerings one day. And one was bringing him the harvest, one was bringing him the lamb, and one got jealous because he kept taking the harvest, and he's like, you know what, I'm pissed off, I'm gonna kill my brother, right? So Cain kills Abel, and God comes back like he doesn't know this. He's supposed to be all-knowing and omnipotent, but he doesn't know that this happened. He's shocked that this happens. And he says, I got to kick you out of the garden. And so Cain says in the Bible, he says, the people out there will kill me. Wait, what people?
I thought there's no people.
I thought there was no people out there. There's people out there already. Matter of fact, they might be barbaric. So he says, don't worry, I will put my mark on you. See, that's the brand. Put my brand on you. So he said, so that they will know your minds. So he put a brand on and let people know, hey, no, that's Enlil's guy. Don't mess with him. Exactly. That started the whole Canaanites. See? That's where the Canaanites came out and built the whole thing and eventually migrated over to Mesoamerica. So we're talking about, it's a big story, man. It's a really, really big story. But you can see where there's so much misinformation and
So Jesus, good guy or bad guy?
I believe it was a good guy. I think some of his words were twisted in the New Testament.
Yeah.
He never said, I don't believe he would say anything about slavery. If you really look at the words of Jesus, what he's teaching, it comes from Thoth the Atlantean. So either he is Thoth the Atlantean or he was taught by the Atlantean, or he studied in the mystery schools to get that same knowledge.
Right.
Because I line up the verses in my book, Compendium of the Emerald Tablets. I line up the words side by side so you can see what Jesus is saying was already said thousands of years prior.
Right.
He's teaching the ancient mysteries, and he's trying to get mankind to enlighten himself through consciousness.
But though the Atlantean was doing it to subjugate the human species.
No, he was helping. He went around the planet helping everyone.
Oh, so he was helping.
Yeah, he was helping.
So this is after, so Tho is after whoever created us and was subjugating us.
Yeah, he's a son of Ea Enki, so he's a son of one of these rulers.
But he broke free from this tradition of enslaving humanity?
He just wanted to help. He would go and he would teach, him and his father would go and teach humans. His father would send him on secret missions to like raise vibration, raise energy.
Why did they want to help out? What was that about?
Well, Enki liked human women.
Oh, really?
So did Thoth.
So it was that, it's that
Thoth
simple.
married Maat.
Really?
And he built the Pyramid of the Moon at Teotihuacan as a dedication to her.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
And what happened to all these people? What happened to all the Anunnaki and Thoth and all them?
They had 2 wars. The first Pyramid War almost eradicated them, but they started over again.
I figured they just left to go live on another planet because there's too many other planets that's livable that they say ain't nobody living on it. Of course, there's other beings and other things that's living on these planets. So, you know, I believe that they come down every once in a while, and that's what back in the day they used to be seeing, talking about angels coming down and talk to them, and that was other people from planets and shit come down and talking to you, steering you in this direction, how to do this, how to do that.
The second Pyramid War.
I believe in all this type of shit.
That one almost decimated the planet. You see how when you look at Earth, like from Google Earth, you see a lot of those big deserts going across. People say, oh, that's just natural geological formations over time. This has become an arid desert. No, that's war. If you go to Egypt and stick your hand deep in the sands, eventually you're going to come up with balls of glass. How can you get glass and sand? 3,000 plus degree temperatures. You go to Mohenjo-Daro in the Indus Valley, what are you going to see there? Dead bodies still in the streets from thousands of years ago, still holding hands, never been scavenged. The buildings that they lived in turned to glass. How can that be? We're talking about 3,000 plus degree temperature weapons fire. We're talking about this war that happened in the ancient past. Amun-Ra wanted to continue he started the first war to take over the earth early because he didn't want to wait for his processional period to rule. And then, this is the guy who says, you must say amen after everything. Say amen. Everything you give thanks for, you're saying amen to him. So when you say amen, you're thanking him, by the way. A brutal killing guy. But anyway, so he says, it's a fact. So he started one war to take over early, which he won.
Yeah.
He then started a second war to stay in power. And in that second war, he escaped. He was almost killed. But he left his kingship and the finances of the kingdom to the Ra-Kam. And R-A-K-A-M, but that translates into modern words. Kam translates into childs. So now you translate Ra, childs, Ra, child.
Oh!
Shit.
Yeah.
Got him!
Yeah.
I think he was going to rock him.
Yeah.
Right.
Hold on. Rothschild. So the Rakim ends up being the Rothschild banking dynasty.
Yeah, $700 trillion dynasty. Wow. Still running the planet till this day.
Are they really?
Oh yeah, they run all the banks, all the central banking systems.
Oh,
globally.
This is awesome. Let's go. Let's go. It's like my YouTube wormhole live. Okay. So Rakim ends up being the Rothschild banking dynasty.
Yeah.
But didn't the Rothschild banking dynasty start in like Austria or something in modern times? Like, how do we jump?
When you have these kind of people that you put in positions of power and they continue to fund and help each other, they always find a way to get back to where they want to be because there's only one recipe. And once you understand and know the recipe, you can start from zero and get it all back.
And what is the recipe?
Well, it's a recipe to building any kind of level of success. I had a business that I built into a very big business and I lost everything a long time ago. I was homeless. I was sleeping in my car, okay, on the beach in North Miami or Aventura. And somebody lent me $30. I put $10 in my gas tank and the other $20 I converted to quarters. This is in the 90s. I got the yellow pages out and I started cold calling businesses I was a marketing company, getting new accounts. I got me some new accounts. I built my business back up. I got off the street, got a new car, got a new house, became a multimillionaire again. So their recipe,
$30.
understanding what it takes to be successful, once it's ingrained in you, it never changes. I don't care what business it is. They could be selling cow chips from Wisconsin, you'll be a billionaire. And so they understood that it was in their DNA.
Can you tell us what that is? We want to learn about it.
I teach classes on this.
Give us a little tidbit. Give us a little.
Well, one thing you have to know, obviously, if you have to be passionate about what you're doing.
Yeah.
See, they're passionate about putting their boot on people's necks and ruling.
Oh, really?
They're passionate. I remember one of the Rothschilds. I can't remember which one it was. I don't know if it was Evelyn or the other one. He says, "We have the right to rule over people." Exact statement.
Yeah.
They believe that they have the right to rule over us and to oversee us. They believe that's their genetic lineage. So if you're passionate about something, you're going to do it to its highest level, and it's never going to feel like you worked a day in your life. So the trick to becoming successful is to find your passion
and then lean in.
And then find a need for that passion in the world. Once you find a need for the passion in the world, then you supply that passion to the person or company that needs it. Now that energy exchange puts money in your bank account. So you never chase the money. I never focus on how much money I can make. I was focused on following my passion and providing that passion to the world. Money is just a side effect of the energy exchange. That's the recipe.
And then these central banks that the Rothschilds have created.
Yeah.
Is there any benefit to them? Like, is it nice to have a central bank? Like, if you were to make the argument for them, what would you say?
Well, listen, anyone who can make trillions of dollars off of money that doesn't exist,
pretty good.
Good damn deal.
Yeah.
I just punch a couple of zeros and ones into a computer, and then all of a sudden it turns into trillions of dollars of money that backed by absolute nothing but consciousness attribution. If we had $1 billion in this room right now, and it was -30, and we had to sleep here overnight, knowing that we're going to get pulmonary edema from breathing in cold air, we'd burn it. Because now the value of the money is only heat to keep us alive for one more day. Money is just what we consciously attribute to it.
So how have they convinced us that we should consciously attribute value to this money?
Goes back to the Sumerian tablets. You go back, you discover where the whole thing was implemented, where these Anunnaki gods put this monetary system in place thousands of years ago.
Yeah.
And they said, okay, if you, we're going to have to really monetize this system that we're creating. So you have lambs, you have apple orchards. You bring 2 satchels of apples, that's the value of 1 lamb.
Right.
If when you get to him, he doesn't have a lamb, he's going to give you an IOU. And we have millions of IOUs in cuneiform.
Yeah.
We discovered them. So I go to him, the first time I get my lamb, I go home. The second time I come back, it's now offering time. He only has enough to give me a half a lamb. I got to give him 2 satchels of apples. I get a half a lamb and an IOU for another half. I come back a month later, man, there's a shortage on lambs now.
This is fractional reserve banking that you're describing.
I give you a leg and I give you a head.
So this is really a function, my understanding is this is a function of like the problem is really the weight of gold. Like at least when it entered like the true banking system in Europe. Like it's hard to just carry your gold around all the time.
Right.
So then if somebody has your gold, they can give you the IOUs for the gold. You can pay in those IOUs knowing full well there's gold in there. But if you start handing out more IOUs than there is gold, nobody's going to ask because we all believe the gold is there, but it's not really there. And that's kind of our banking system.
Exactly. Fiat.
Right now. And that's when people say, I think banks only need to have like 10% or 20% of the actual funds in the bank itself.
Correct. If we all went to the bank today and said, give me my money, the banking system would collapse because everyone would not get their money. It'd be impossible to get your money out.
Yeah, let's not do that.
No, that'd be a bad situation.
That'd be a
really bad day.
Yeah. And that's what people call the run on the bank term. Right.
In this world, trying to live in this
economic
society
collapse,
without
and everybody wants to go take their money out, and then the bank goes, "Hey, we're stopping withdrawals today because
it's like shorting a stock."
Much.
Yeah, it's crazy. That's why you should always keep cash. I'm talking. That shit make me want to pull money out the bank and just hold it. But fuck, that shit hard. But yeah, man, this is take with it what you want. Take with it with a grain of salt. But this shit that I believe in. Everybody got their own little beliefs and shit like that. But it made a whole lot of sense. A lot of shit that he was saying. The whole Adam and Eve thing. The whole cloning thing. The whole like, you know what I'm saying? It's obvious that Adam and Eve wasn't the first humans on Earth. Like, you know what I'm saying? And the Earth way before the Bible and shit like. was here for a long time and people been on it. You know what I'm saying? And there's other planets with people that's been on it and still on it and we don't know about and just find out about. Scientists just not finding out new shit, discoveries and shit. So, I'm just here for the ride to just to keep figuring out the shit that they finding out and shit. I love shit like this though, man. If y'all like it, like, comment, subscribe.
Do it for the bar, just do it for the bar, just